The doctrine, listen, there was not no literature. It was hieroglyphic or papyrus on how the ancient Egyptians lived. That's why you can go right now to Africa and you can see certain things that's written on the walls of how things was. But the Greeks didn't like that. So you know what the Greeks did? The Greeks said, you know what? We don't want to abide by this no more, so we're going to make our own thing. And that right there is when Christianity became a religion. You see that? Now, our ancestors is the ones that created Christianity, but it was not a religion until the Greeks grabbed it, took it over. Watch this right here. The Greeks grabbed it. All the literature that we finna read now, right now, the story I'm finna read right now, that right there was something that they was going by in antiquity. So you know, you just watch this right here. So all of the stories that's in the Bible, the majority of the stories that's in the Bible, guess what, y'all? It came from the mythological stories that was told back in ancient Egypt. See that? But they twisted them a little bit. You see what I'm saying? And then what they did is they say, you know what? Okay, we no longer want to call him Serapis. We want to call him Christ. We want to call him Christo. Change his name. We can do that. We the owner of the image Serapis, so we can do whatever we want to do with Serapis now. So we're going to change his name to Jesus the Christ. That's what we're going to change his name to, and we're going to tell people this right here. If you don't bow down to him, we're going to kill you. And this right here, you got the Spanish Inquisition. We talked about that to the point to where if you did not say that you was a Christian, they torture you something furious. If you did not say you was a Christian. So they went over the whole wide world, get these people. Now watch this right here. They did no longer want the ancient Egyptians to serve no other God but Jesus the Christ. See that? But now they put it in the book that the reason why our ancestors was enslaved is because they were serving other gods. Now, let me ask you a question. Ask you a question. Brother Lonzo, you got about 5 kids? How many kids you got? 4 kids. How many sons you got? 2 sons. And you got 2 daughters. Now, is there anything, or is there any amount of percentage? Let me ask it right. Could you make angry to where you will send them off to be castrated? I can't hear you. Okay. You got 2 daughters. Okay. That beautiful one right there. She's looking at me like, yeah, I want that beautiful little girl right there. 5 years old. 5 years old. Watch this now. Is there anything that she can do to you to make you sacrifice her? Send her, put her in slavery, and the slave master is give her to a slave master, and the slave master is waiting on her to become a woman, because you know once that time of month come, you consider her as a woman in antiquity. Now, is there any way that she can upset you to make you give her to someone, and you know that they're gonna prostitute her, you know that they're gonna put her in slavery, you know that they're gonna pass her on? Is there anything that she can do? Is there anything that she can do to make you that mad to where you'll put her off to be raped? What about you, Sister Jewel, with your little daughter? There's nothing, huh? Now watch this. I'm just being real, y'all. So why would we want to follow a God, Yahweh, that was so angry at the ones that he say was his chosen? Why would we follow that God if he the one that basically spearhead our young girls being raped, sold, prostituted? Why would we follow a God that will have our young men to be castrated. And what they did to the young girl, they did the same thing to the young boys. Why would we see? Once we was in religion, and once we was saying that this, that, and we was bowed down to this guy, some of us would have had an excuse. Well, because they was disobedient. So you mean tell me that the quote unquote God that was supposed to have made us, that was supposed to have pulled a rib out of a man and made a woman, you mean tell me he got that much power that he can't just snap his finger and everybody just be good? To the point to where he just had to just give them over to slavery? See, we don't think about that when we bound. When we're in bondage, we can't think about that. We can't think when we're in bondage, y'all. We can't think when we are bound to religion. We just can't think. You got to get out of religion to think about this stuff. Now that I'm out, now I'm thinking about this God that I used to serve. But now watch this right here. But in my study, I have found out all kind of different gods. You got some mean God. You got a God by the name of Bess. Bess was a very mean God. Bess was a pygmy God. You see? You got some pygmy Africans that is about that tall right there, but they grown. They're about that tall right there. You see that? Think about it. All these different gods. But now, watch this. Do you believe that human beings was created to be treated like animals? I know that the Creator did not create us to be treated like animals. The Creator did not create young girls to be raped. The Creator did not create young boys to be castrated, sodomized, fed to alligators for alligator bait, cocoons. I want y'all to think about that. That's not what we was created. I created y'all so that we have to go through hell. When the Creator, the very few people, Creator also created this with those two people by. And guess what? One thing wasn't religion. See, we was living free. We was living just like the deers in the wilderness. They're free. You see that? You know why they're free? Because you know why? Because the Creator created exactly to be good, be in good health. He did for us. See that? Now watch this. With the same literature that was written on the walls, that was mythological writings about Horus, because his name was Haru, but when got a hold to him, they changed his name from Haru and gave him a Greek name, which was Horus. Isis, a Set. But when the Greeks got a hold to it, they changed the name and gave it Isis. See? Osiris, it was Osiris or Oris. But they changed his name and gave him a Greek name to Osiris. Because you know why? Because they feel like once they own something, they can do whatever they want to do with it. But this is what we got to remember. They grabbed those same mythological stories. Watch this. Our mythological stories, put it in the Bible, and enslaved us with our own mythological stories. And we, the last time we was talked about the Epic of Gilgamesh, didn't we? The Epic of Gilgamesh. Just a little history on the Epic of Gilgamesh. It was chaos. Okay? Now, this God couldn't sleep because it was too many people making too much noise. So the people upset God. So you know what God did? God told Gilgamesh to build a boat. And when he built the boat, he said, build a boat for family, all of the animals. What does that sound like? Sound like no, correct? But now watch this right here. Give you a little more history. Then I'm going to tell you about this little story. We're going to bring it home. Now, the lower part of Africa flooded. When the season came around, it flooded. I want y'all to catch this now. And when it flooded, it was chaos. It caused chaos in Africa. But the good thing about the chaos was after the flood left, that right there is when things began to grow. They called it new birth. Are y'all understanding me so far? Now, so what they did is they named this event Ark of Noah. Not Ark of Noah, but it was Ark of Noah. See, now that went over a lot of our heads. Ark of Noah. Where is my where's Queen Deborah? I need her to find this. I just want to show y'all something real fast. Ark. Okay, I need her to come because I want her to put this up on the screen so that I can show y'all something. I'm gonna show y'all where they get the name Ark, Noah's Ark, something. Now I'm telling you, it's all mythological. The God tells Gilgamesh to build an ark or to build a boat. Ark of Noah, ARGHANOA, I think. Ark of Noah. That's for me. Ark of Noah. You see, I like to prove stuff as I go along. You see, I like. I'm just gonna show y'all something. I'm gonna just give y'all, But now watch this right here. You see? Now, when the flood left, they called that new birth. Something was reborn. Something was born again. That is where they get baptism from. Because the whole bottom of Africa was submerged up underwater. You see that? And when the water, when they came up out of water, that right there where your new birth come from. That's where your baptism come from. You immerse up underwater, and when you come up out the water being baptized again. Same way when a baby is in the womb of her mother. The baby is immersed in water. And when her water break and the baby comes out, she have given new birth to a baby. Same thing. Same thing, y'all. All this right here was all in ancient Egypt, y'all. Now I want you to find that Ark of Noah. I say people feel as though because they trapped. People feel though as what we're talking about right now. You got some people that say, "Oh man, this man, he don't know what he talking about." But guess what? I'm proving everything that I'm saying. But what they talk about, they can't prove it. Listen, there is no proof of no Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. No proof. Now watch this. If they say, first of all, everybody in here, okay, that, my condolences. If your father has passed, okay, how many in here father has passed away? Okay, now, and I know we all know. Now, do you know where your father was buried? Okay, was your father buried? Okay, but you got his remains. So we got evidence that your father lived because we got his remains at our house. Okay. Now watch this right here. We all know that our father got a burial place, the one that's been buried. You know why? Because there's evidence that he lived and he was our father, and we know exactly where he's buried at. But now watch this right here. If Abraham is the father of all nations, if Abraham is the father of, and we his seed, shouldn't we know where he buried at? If the Bible talks about shouldn't we know where Abraham is buried? And if the Bible talks about him the way it talked about him, he was going to have many nations. See that? Shouldn't we know? Shouldn't we have history? Now, wait. Now, they told us that if we don't bow down to Jesus, we're going to go to hell. Shouldn't we know more about Jesus than a little bit? Shouldn't we know where he's been born? Shouldn't we know what's his birthday? Now I'm finna show y'all something. Look at this right here. Now, scroll down some. I want to read this to y'all. I'm finna show y'all something now. We learn this. Listen, we in school. This ain't no church. We in school. Okay, we in school. I want to read before it says they called this celebration. They called what celebration? The Ark of Noah. I want you to go down some, so I can read from the beginning. You know what I'm saying? Just like it ain't come up on the screen yet. Okay. And I want you to read it real loud. So soon as it go down, I want you to read it real loud. Okay. Y'all, excuse us. We got time. Our internet is slow, but we got time. I'm just finna show y'all something. Okay, now watch this right here. Now, what I want you to do, I want you to read that real loud. Okay. We see it now throughout the area of Egypt. Okay. Read it loud so everybody can hear. Throughout the area of Egypt, Kemet, in the ancient times, the Nile Delta became flooded. It was a tragedy that happened every year. Yes. This great flood would come and wash away the Egyptian world. The people of these times called these waters the waters of chaos. Okay, stop right there. I want y'all to listen to this now. Y'all listen to this very plainly. Okay, go ahead, read. But they also brought new life. Okay. Because without the waters of chaos coming annually, the deserts would be totally dry and nothing would grow. Obviously, if nothing grew, famine would be evident. They discovered within time that chaos was indeed a blessing that actually brought new life. Now start right there. Now watch this. So now there is also a God by the name of the God of chaos. You see? Because anything that they gave praise to, they made it out of a God. So this was a God of chaos. All right? Read. Watch this, y'all. Spring would be a beautiful time in Egypt due to the waters of chaos bringing fresh nutrients for plants and food to grow. The people of the Nile Valley would then celebrate the coming of the waters of chaos. For they soon learned that with them they would bring the new life that was so desperately needed for their survival. Read. They call this in Egypt. Look. The Ark of Noah. Not the Ark of Noah. See? It's not right there. They called this event the Ark of Noah. Y'all see that? Not the Ark of Noah, but Ark of Noah. Now, this was going on before the Bible was written, y'all. This was going on thousands of years before the Bible was written. And y'all see the event that she just explained, they called the celebration in Egypt the Ark of Noah. Not the Ark of Noah, but Ark of Noah. Now read. The Ark of Noah was the coming of the great flood that washed away the old world and brought new life. Okay, see now y'all remember in the Bible, over there in Genesis, when he told over there in the scripture in the Old Testament, when the people just got on his nerves so bad to where he said that he regretted him that he made man, so he called the flood, right? He told Noah to build an ark. He caused the flood. Okay? He caused the flood. This event was called the Ark of Noah. Now, we just the last time we was here, we talked about the Epic of Gilgamesh. The same way that the Bible said that Noah sent out a raven to go and see was it dry and sent out a dove, the same way Gilgamesh did the same thing. But remember, the Epic of Gilgamesh story was written thousands of years before the Bible was even thought about. So now you tell me where the Bible got that story from. And watch this. It's all mythology. It was not real. It was fiction. So if the story of Gilgamesh building a boat was fiction and it was not real, that means that Noah building the ark is not real. We read it right here, y'all. We read something else that got something to do with the ark of Noah. Now, read it again. Start with the moon was always go. Start. No, they call it the celebration. Start right there. They call it the celebration right there. They call the celebration in the ark of Noah. Not the ark. Ark of Noah. The ark of Noah. The ark of Noah was the coming of the great flood. Wow. It washed away all the old people, and it brought forth new life. Remember? Go ahead on the, yeah, make that bigger. That's good. Can y'all see it? Okay, good. Okay, pick up, read where you was going. And for Egypt, a rebirth born again. The moon was always in the lower quarter. This quarter of the moon became known as the ark of Noah. Or the wet moon. Yes. Yes. Notice the resemblance to the yin and yang of light. Yes. When looking at its symbol. Yes. The light and the dark, as observed since the earliest civilization. The duality of one. This is the law of polarity. Two opposites of one thing. Hot and cold. Day and night. Heavy and light, etc. You can start right there. Wow. So y'all see this, right? Okay, now, told y'all we've been bamboozled when it come down to this Bible. This Bible came along and put all of us in a trap, made us believe this thing, and listen, it got us all trapped up. We can't live free. We can't live free. Well, now, just like we broke down hell, just like we broke down, there's no hell. You see what I'm saying? We broke it all down. We broke down what they put in the Bible says, Gehenna, and we broke all that down. To find out that it was no hell, because who went to hell and came back and said, hey, I just went to hell. Hell is like this right here. Who went to heaven and came back and said, you know what, I just visited heaven, and this is how heaven is. But now, don't get me wrong, and don't get yourself wrong, because now we know that we all been duped. That don't mean that you just go off living your life. This right here now makes it to where you really, really, really need to be trying to find out the ways that we was living. You need to find out, okay, the ways we used to eat. The stuff we eating right now is poison. This is why we get diabetes. This is why we get high blood pressure. This is why we get cancer. This junk is poison. This is not how we used to eat. We didn't used to eat like this. See that? No, we didn't used to eat like this. See? Go to the grocery store and go to the meat section, dead animal, and go home and cook it. We didn't used to do that. Talk to me, somebody. Listen. Okay, now. No. This is what we're gonna do right here. Now, let's look at another story, because I told you we Genesis, and I'm gonna walk you straight through the whole Old Testament, just like how we consummate, or how we found out that the New Testament was trying to up stuff from the Old Testament, but it shipwrecked by changing certain things that only someone studying can see. See that? Now watch this right here. We're gonna go from the we finna go to the Garden of Eden. I told y'all that Satan is all a myth. Now we're gonna talk about a god by the name of Myth-Enki and a goddess by the name of Ninhursag. Okay, this is what we're gonna do. I'm finna show y'all something, and this is gonna blow your mind. And you still got people right now that'll look at this and they'll see the evidence that I'm giving them, that all these stories in the Bible is a myth, and they still going to look over that and still begin to start believing the Bible. All because we God's chosen people. Come on now. Let's say, oh yeah, you are God's chosen people. But guess what? But the Creator has not a chosen people. He made everyone equal. He don't have no it don't have no chosen people. You see? People don't understand. But now watch this. Myth-Enki and Ninhursag. I want you to read it. Put up on the screen. I want you to read it. I'm finna show y'all something. Listen to this now. It's up. It's up. Myth-Enki and Ninhursag. The Sumerians' myth. Okay, go ahead. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, stop. The Garden of Paradise. The Garden of Eden. Y'all not talking to me. Now watch this. This story right here was around way before the Bible was written, y'all. Now we finna see where they got the story of the creation of a woman coming from out of the rib of a man, the disobedience in the garden, and what the disobedient garden has caused. Let's read it. Y'all buckle up your seatbelt. I told you this is for mature audience only. This right here debunks. See, when I read stuff like this debunks everything else. Woo! I got some stuff, y'all. Listen, read.
Ninhursag, depicted as a young and vibrant goddess, has retired for the winter to rest after her part in creation. Enki, god of wisdom, magic, and fresh water, finds her there and falls deeply in love with her. They spend many nights together, and Ninhursag becomes pregnant with the daughter they name Ninzar, Lady of Vegetation.
I told you, listen, I told you all gods represented something. Now you see that they made a god Enki, okay, then they made a god Ninhursag. But you see what it said, this is a Sumerian myth. It's not a true story, but it's just a story. See that? So if there's a myth and there's a story in the Bible that we read today that copies from this story, we know that it's also a myth. Read, listen.
Ninhursag blesses the child with abundant growth, and she matures into a woman in 9 days.
In 9 days, she's matured to a woman in 9 days. Listen. Now, wait. She's 9 days old. Uh-oh. Or she matures in a woman in 9 days. Listen, read. Watch this, y'all.
When spring comes, Ninhursag must return to her duties of nurturing living things on earth and leaves Dilmun, but Enki and Ninzar remain.
Now the time comes where Enki, she got to go and she got to continue on creating the creator. I told you there's a lot of creation stories, y'all. And it just happened to be one in the in the Old Testament talking about a God by the name of Yahweh. Told you it's a mythology story. Wow. I'm so glad that I'm woke to see this. I couldn't see this when I was asleep. Religion had me sleep. I couldn't see this when I was locked up behind bars. Religion had me be locked up behind. I couldn't see this. I can see plainly now. Now listen.
Enki misses Ninhursag terribly.
Now, the one that the one he fell in love with, the one that they slept together and brought forth the daughter, he misses her terribly. Look what it says now.
And one day sees Ninzar.
Ninzar was his daughter, the one that he had by Ninhursag. Now, he sees her by the marsh. I can pick her right here. And believes her to be the nation of Ninhursag, the one he misses, the one that he has a baby by, the one that Ninzar is, the daughter of. But now watch this right here. He seduces her, his own daughter, and she becomes pregnant with a daughter, Ninkara, goddess of the mountain pastures. I told you every god had the god of something. Ninkara also develops into a young woman in 9 days. And Enki again believes that he sees Ninhursag afar off in the girl. And guess what? He leaves Ninzar for Ninkara. Now, listen, Ninkara is the daughter of Enki and Ninzar. So now he leaves Ninzar for Ninkara, whom he seduces, and she gives birth to a daughter named Uta, the weaver of patterns of life desires. Now watch this. happy together for a while, but just as with Ninhursag and Ninhursag, Enki falls out of love with her once he realizes she is not Ninhursag and leaves her, returning to his work on earth. Now, watch this. Watch this. Somebody go ahead and say, this man is talking crazy. Everything he reading is not true. And guess what? They got that part right because it's not true. It's a myth. But guess what? Your Bible that you read is reading the same thing. So your Bible with the same story is true, but where the story comes from don't make no sense. You see how your brain locked up? Now listen to this right here. Utai is distraught and calls upon Ninhursag. Utai, she's distraught. She's like, oh my goodness. Watch this, y'all. And calls upon Ninhursag for help, explaining to Ninhursag what has happened. Ninhursag tell Utai, watch this, y'all, to wipe Enki's seed from her body. Oh, wow. And bury it in the earth of Dilma, which is in the paradise. So wipe his seed, wipe his sperm, wipe his semen from off of you and bury it in the garden. Listen to this now. Utai does as she is told, and 9 days later, 8 new plants grow from the earth. Remember the trees the trees in the Garden of Eden? Listen, 8 new plants grow from the earth. At this point, Enki returns along with her visor Ishmael, passing by the plants. Enki passed by the plants. Listen, y'all. Enki stops and asks what they are. Okay? Ishmael plucks from the first hand. Go down something. Stop. He plucks from the first tree, give it to Enki. What does this sound like? Don't this sound like after the fruit? Listen. Now. Uh-huh.
This he learns is a tree plant and finds it so delicious that Ishmael plucks the other 7. Enki also quickly eats. Ninhursag returns and is enraged that Enki has eaten all of the plants.
So now Enki. So Enki comes back. She's upset because Ninhursag is a goddess. Ninhursag, what did it say? Go back down. Ninhursag return and is enraged that Enki has eaten all the plants. She turns on him the eye of death. Curses and departs from paradise and the world. Go up some. Now watch this, y'all. Start reading right there.
Enki becomes sick and is dying. All the other gods mourn, but no one can heal him except for Ninhursag. She cannot be found. A fox appears, one of Ninhursag's animals, who knows where she is and goes to bring her back.
Watch this, y'all.
Ninhursag rushes to Enki's side, draws him to her, and places his head against her vulva.
Come on now. Listen. This is the story. Come on, read. She kisses him and asks him, where is your pain? And each time he tells her, she draws the pain into her body and gives birth to another deity. And this way, 8 of the deities most favorable to humanity are born. You got one that is Abba, god of plant, or Abba, god of plants and growth. Nintilia, lord of Megan, governor, copper, and precious metal. Ninzitu, goddess of healing and consort of Ninhursag. Ninkasi, now this last one gonna blow your mind. Ninkasi, goddess of beer. Nanshi, goddess of social justice and divination. Azumia, goddess of healing and with the Ninhursag of the underworld. Imshag, lord of Dimla and fertility. Look at this last one. Ninti, the lady of the rib who gives life. Now, Now what she did is she grabs, because remember, every part of him that was hurting, he plants. So now guess what Ninhursag do? Ninhursag pulls the rib from Enki, and there's Ninti. Boom, right there, y'all. See that? Y'all remember when God grabbed the rib out of Adam and made Eve? This story right here was written way before that. Ninhursag grabs a rib out of Enki and make Ninti. Now, look at that. Enki is healed and repents for his carelessness in eating the plants and thoughtlessness and seducing the girls. Ninhursag forgives him, and the two return to work of creation. The myth represents Ninhursag as all-powerful and that she is able to inflict death on one of the most potent gods and is also the only one who can heal him. Enki and Ninhursag has also been cited, however, as the basis of the biblical story of creation found in Genesis. Do y'all understand what I'm saying now? Listen, it's all a myth that has controlled us, got us believing in that Bible all this time, and we still going through hell. We still in slavery. We don't own nothing, but we've been believing in this God of the Bible. We don't have nothing, but we believing in Jesus. Our ancestors that we know that's here, that's gone now, has died of cancer. But he said he was the God of he was a healing God. Are y'all understand what I'm saying? Oh, it had us at one time. And it still got some of us now. But I'm free. Glory, 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 glory to the Creator. I'm free. Listen, listen. The Bible is an interruption of your life. It gets in your life and it stops you from living your life by telling you how it wants you to live, how it wants you to eat. Listen, we should know how to eat. We ain't kids. You ain't finna feed that little daughter no poison. You ain't finna feed none that you know that's gonna hurt her. We automatically know how we should be eating. Listen, it's called common sense. The Creator did not make a man to walk on water. The Creator did not make a man to swim and live underwater. The Creator didn't make no man to fly. It's common sense. But we can't use it. You know why? Because we locked up behind bars because of religion. Now, listen. If y'all gotta notice this. Every religion that don't believe in Jesus, or everybody that don't believe in Jesus, they doing just fine. Everything just good with them. Now, watch this. We supposed to be God's chosen people. But out of all of the people, we the only ones that's in bondage. We're the only one that's still in slavery. Listen. The Arabs, they own their own stores. They own their own everything. The Chinese, they own everything. Caucasians own everything. Guess where they own it at, y'all? They own it right in our neighborhood. We don't own nothing, but we supposed to be God's chosen people. And we don't own nothing, we don't have nothing, but we supposed to be. But and then when we say, well, why don't we own it? Because y'all been punished. Listen, how in the listen, how would you feel if your sons right now got to go through hell for all the hell you caused when you was coming up? That's not fair. Your little daughter got to suffer everything you did as you was coming up, and she wasn't even born yet, but now she's here. She got to suffer for all your mistakes. That's not fair. Talk to me, somebody. You see, think about this. We don't have nothing. We don't even, listen, let me tell you something. Right now, if every grocery store and the world closed. Every restaurant closed. What you gonna do? If every grocery store closed right now, where you gonna get your food at? You don't own nothing to build, to plant nothing. Talk to me, somebody. But wait a minute. But we supposed to be chosen people. And if they were to close right now, listen, right now, at the house that y'all live in, right now, they can cut your light down, and you know you paid your bill. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? You got a lot of people that's dependent on the system. They get SSI. If they cut your SSI off, what you gonna do? You got young ladies right now that receive WIC from for their children. If they stop that, if they stop food stamps, what they gonna do? If they stop, that means that we are depending on someone. We depend on nothing but nature and antiquity, because there was no electricity, there was no corner stores. There was no grocery stores. There was none of that. So our people, we live from what the Creator has put on this earth for us to live by. Now we depending on somebody to eat. We depend on somebody to drink. If they cut off all water right now, y'all listen, y'all remember that something was in the water? You had people lined up fighting over bottles of water. Talk to me, somebody. We don't even own our own water supply. You see, everything that we do. Listen, it is hard for us to get anything because you know why? Because they got their hands in it. Listen, we open up restaurants. Queen Debritu can tell you. Queen Leah can tell you. When we have restaurants, before we could just go down there and open up our restaurant, we had to reach the code. They had to come down there and make sure that we was doing everything right. And they make it complicated to the point to where they say, you know what, man, I got to go through all this. I don't even want to do it now. Just forget about it. That's what they want. We don't own nothing. And if they own something, they got their hands in it. A man can pay $200,000 for his house, but it is not his. You know why? He'll miss a tax payment. They're coming to take it. They got their hand. How come I can't live free? Listen, since we were in slavery and since we God's chosen people, why we have to pay bills? How come they just can't have our lights on? How come they just can't for us? How come that we got to pay for water? Come on, how come we just can't live free if we're free? But they got us celebrating every free holiday that don't have nothing to do with you. But you celebrating it. You got to spend all your money. Look, all the money that's finna be spent for Independence Day, the 4th of July. You're not independent, so why are you fooling with that holiday? Come on now. Labor Day. You see? Because the minds of our people is blocked. They're in bondage still to this day. Oh, I got a whole lot of other mythological stories, y'all. You see? Now, I'm finished. But let me say this one last thing. We have been told, and we're going to talk about this next. We have been told that Moses written the Torah. They good. We have been told that Moses written the Torah. But in deep studies, Moses did write the Torah, but it was not the Moses in the Bible. His name was Moses Maimonides. We got history of Moses Maimonides is the one that written the Torah. You know, now watch this. You know why Moses in the Bible didn't do it? Because there's never been a Moses that walked the face of this earth that led nobody out of Egypt. There's never been an Abraham. There's never been an Isaac. There's never been a Jacob. Now, and if it has been an Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, prove it. Just that simple. Prove it. Just prove it. Now, you got our people just fighting each other. You got them fighting over religion. And I just sit here and said this right here. If all this killing is going over religion, look all the killing that's going on over in Israel right now. And see, this is right here. This is what folk don't want to realize. They say, well, those are not the Jews over there. See, this right here is what folk don't understand. Okay. Can I have 3 more minutes? That's it. Just 3 more minutes. Well, let me see. I promise. Just 3. It was only 2:58. I got 3 more minutes. I got a couple more minutes. We doing good. We doing